Well, hey there. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. Don't you just love Fridays? You know, you made it through another week, and we got one day left till the weekend, and so what do you say? Let's talk some Lego. And on Fridays, my favorite thing to do is to review a set, make it a full review Friday. And so I am so thankful to you for tuning in today, whether you are listening on your favorite podcast player station or you are watching on YouTube because you are a more visual person. Just thank you. It's just great to have you. And so today I'm going to talk about a really cool set, and that is set 21351, Disney's Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this is a fabulous set. This is a Lego Ideas set. It's the 59th Lego Ideas set that has been released. And we're going to go over it. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the great, the ugly. And then at the end, I'm going to give you my final rating. And I base my final rating on overall build experience, playability, displayability, and the value for your money to let you know ultimately, is this a set that's worth having in your collection, or is this maybe a hard pass for you? So, spoiler alert, I think it's pretty awesome. So, what do you say? Let's get right into it. Like I said, this is a Lego Ideas set. I'm going to give you the statistics for it. It came out in September of this year, 2024. It was $200, which equates to about 9.1 cents a piece because it has 2,193 pieces. So it measures around 13 inches tall. It's about 18 inches long and about 10 inches deep. So it really looks nice on a shelf, fits on a shelf very nicely, and it's not perfectly straight. It's got that little arch to it. Like I say, if you're watching me on YouTube, I actually have the set next to me right now, and I am looking at it in all of its gloriousness. So, but yeah, those are the main statistics. I want to start off with an area that I know everybody loves, and that's minifigures. Okay, so this set actually has 8 minifigures if you don't include Zero the dog, which I kind of do. So I kind of want to say it's like 8.5 or 9, right? And these minifigures are pretty spot on, starting with what I think is the best minifigure, and that's the mayor. The mayor is a brick-built minifig, and he is absolutely awesome. He's got that proportion, right, of The Nightmare Before Christmas, where he just looks that perfect little conal shape of him, and he's got both the happy face and the angry face depending on his mood, and he is just really, really cool. And his face is a printed piece, and so it's a really unique, very, very strong looking minifig, and probably my favorite in this whole set. Moving on with the minifigs, Jack and Sally, fabulous. Okay, so we got, it's kind of an interesting mix. We've got Jack and Sally before with minifigs, with the Disney Series 2 release of their minifigs. But Jack, the noticeable difference are his legs. So if you've ever watched The Nightmare Before Christmas, a fabulous movie, Jack is very tall, very lanky. And in this particular set, they did the right thing. They reintroduced the super tall minifig legs like they have with like Woody and Toy Story, and it just gives Jack the correct proportions. So yeah, this is technically the second Jack Skellington minifigure, but really unique because of his legs. Along with him, we have Sally. And Sally, although her printings aren't as good, it is nice to have a second Sally out, and this is definitely a unique print to this set, so she's a good looking piece as well. And then to round it out, we have Lock, Stock, and Barrel, which I think is a really interesting choice because Lock, Stock, and Barrel are the kids, the little naughty little monkeys that are stealing Santa in the movie, and they're kind of plain, but really interesting choices to have in this because we don't have Dr. Finkelstein. We don't have Oogie Boogie, probably the biggest snub in this set. There is no Oogie Boogie minifig, and I think everybody would have loved a brick-built Oogie Boogie, right? But instead, we have lock, stock, and barrel, and they're not bad. In fact, the hair printing on lock is completely unique to that color. You can only find it in the set. But overall, I would say they're probably the weakest of the lot. And then you have Santa Claus, and we've gotten a lot of Santa Clauses, clearly, but this printing is unique to this set. So you can say that Santa, technically for this set, is unique. So that's cool as well. There's a skeleton thrown in. Technically, a skeleton is a minifig, but we get skeletons all the time. So that is the one minifig they do not consider unique. And then one of my other little favorite things is Zero. Zero's amazing. I'm going to just pick him up and look at him. He is a single printed, like he is a one piece, I'm going to call him a minifig. He's not a traditional minifig. It's the dog. Zero's the dog. But he is a one mold piece. And he's got the little, it's done not in the hard plastic, the ABS, but it's done in that little, the kind of plastic that's a little more movable. And his nose is the little tiny pumpkin, and he just looks so cute. And then he's got one little place where you can stick him on a stud. That's how he mounts. So he kind of is like the dog or the cat from the Simpsons minifigs when they include a little piece like that. And so I just think Zero is incredible. So, but yeah, those are the minifigs. And when I talk about the minifigs, I guess I should talk more about The Nightmare Before Christmas itself, because I'm realizing some of you may not know or be a fan of this movie. It came out back in 1993, right? And it was stop motion animation. I think a lot of people know it by now, but it was really a fun movie and a really dark gothic take on Jack, who's not having the time of his life celebrating another successful Halloween. He wants more, right? And so he stumbles upon Christmas Town, and he sees this whimsical Christmas town. He goes, I'm going to do this for myself, right? And so his goal then is to bring Christmas to Halloween Town. And it's just really funny how the whole thing plays out, because you have Christmas, but the gifts are bones and, hands and dead things. And it's just really a fun movie. What I love, though, and when I was researching this, I didn't know this. Leave me a comment below if you knew this. You're probably more educated than I am, for sure. But the voice of Jack Skellington is Danny Elfman. And I don't know if you know who Danny Elfman is, but he is a longtime composer and music contributor to many, many movies. So like Men in Black, the Men in Black songs, everybody thinks Will Smith, but Danny Elfman provided a lot of that music for that. And he provided all the music for A Nightmare Before Christmas. He also for Beetlejuice, Batman, which all those make sense because it's Tim Burton, and Tim Burton and Danny Elfman worked really closely together. But I think the thing that blew my mind most, if you don't know Danny Elfman, certainly you know the Simpsons theme song. Way back there in 1989, right? Right? Who doesn't know the Simpsons? He's the guy who composed that theme song. So to have him be the voice of Jack Skellington, I just thought was really cool. And not only that, but Catherine O'Hara, she's the voice of Shelley. And if you don't know her, think of the mom in Beetlejuice or the mom in Schitt's Creek. That's who voiced Sally for this. So yeah, it's just a really cool, iconic movie. One of your classic early 90s movies that I think every family eventually should watch together, right? It's just a fun little kind of messed up experience. But moving from there, let's talk more about this set. It's an amazing set. Like I say, Lego Ideas. So there's an original design for this, right? The original design had Jack's house, which is the centerpiece of this set right in the middle. His house was a lot taller. It was much more angled and went back and forth. And in this set, I think they actually do a good job of basically not only making the proportions right, they lower it down a little bit, they widen it out, and they open up the back area of the room So technically there are less rooms in this house, but you've got Jack's main study area where he's got a sticker that shows him diagramming how he's going to create a successful Christmas here in Halloween Town. It does sit back a little bit, so it feels a little bit more unstable, but it is actually a pretty stable house in itself, and I think far more stable than what they would have done in the original design. The roof for both the mausoleum and Jack's house come off, which I think is also a great touch because the roof itself at the top is linked together with those little 2x2, I call them pie pieces. I never know the technical lingo of it, but they just come together. It's almost like two claws coming together, and the vibe just works. And then when you take off the roof of all of these areas, they've got little Christmas things set up. So all the wreaths, the gifts, and all the things they actually stole from Christmas Town that are now being stored up in the attic of either the mausoleum, town hall, or Jack's house itself. So yeah, just really, really nice. I'm going to try and put the roof back on without breaking everything. Other things that I really love about this set, to the right of Jack's house is the iconic graveyard scene. And if you've seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, you know this is that moment, right, where Jack, he realizes how much he loves Sally, and you've got that big yellow moon in the background, and it's just such a beautiful scene. You've got Zero in the graveyard with his little doghouse, which happens to be a grave site, which is always so funny. But they do it really, really well in this set. In fact, I would argue they do it better in this set than the original design, right? The arch of the land that comes over and curly cues in the original design, it's a little bit blocky. It's a little bit rough. It looks like a version 1.0, and this is a very, very polished version 2.0. And then they do something really smart. They have a unique Lego element that makes up the moon. So the moon, it's not a traditional Lego piece. It is a giant plastic disc. It's the material that, if you've gotten the Polaroid camera, it's the same type of material with that. It's like basically a thick cardstock plastic material, but it is in fact a Lego element, and it's the first of its kind for what I've seen for this set. And so you're not going to find it on a part list, but it's definitely a Lego element, and the size and what they do here, I think it's just the right call, because if you tried to brick built this giant moon, you're going to use way too many pieces. So to have one big moon that attaches in the back by a singular round pin, it's so smart. It's so sleek, and it's so smooth, and it just makes a lot of sense. So, and then to the left of Jack's house, the final sequence, the third building part, is the town hall, the big, huge mausoleum-looking building. And in front of it, you have that iconic fountain with the dragon that's spewing all the green liquid, and where they have all of the central movie, a lot of it taking place. I will say this is one area where I think the original design probably got it a little bit better. It had the dragon that was a little bit bigger. I think they actually had the green sludge coming out of the dragon's mouth, and I think that would have been really nice to have here, because it is a little abstract in this set. If you didn't know The Nightmare Before Christmas, you might ask yourself, like, what is that? What are they doing? But overall, really, really nice. And then finally, over the mausoleum, there's another cloth element. And so you have the hard plastic of the moon, but over the mausoleum itself, it's got the banner. It's got this orange and black banner, and that is actually a cloth element that is hung up behind what looks like a bone, which is really nice, and then the stickers that have the countdown until Christmas. And so overall, I don't think there's anything else I would have wanted as I built this set. That's the other part that's really cool about this set. It comes with 3 manuals where you can build each of these 3 parts individually. So you can build this yourself, or you can build it with your family. You know, I did a build with me and my beautiful daughter. And, you can do that when you have more than one manual. It just works out really, really well. I mean, granted, you can do the digital manual, so you can do as many people as you want in this build, but I just think it's nice that Lego is thinking about that, because clearly this is a family set. And so this is the kind of set you don't want to build by yourself. You want to build with your kids or your wife or your significant other or your grandma or, your great uncle who's a huge fan of Tim Burton. I don't know, but it's just the fact that you can do that, which I think is just a really good move. And then finally, I didn't say this, but a couple other just nice finishing touches is the graveyard and its colorfulness with all the pumpkins everywhere. You don't just have regular pumpkins, but you have the jack-o'-lantern pieces, and the jack-o'-lantern pieces are actually, the molds of them are just done really, really well. And then you also have the bathtub. And the bathtub, I just think, was definitely a must, because that's how Lock, Stock, and Barrel steal Santa Claus. So it's just really overall just a nice looking set. It looks great on display, and it was a really fun, enjoyable set to build. So, but yeah, with that, I think I've kind of given you an outline of what I think about it. You can kind of see where I'm going with this, but I do want to give you a rating. Like I said in the beginning, I always rate my sets on build experience, display ability, playability, and value. And so build experience, like I said, with the 3 manuals, very diverse build. Sticker elements, I think there were like 12, so not too many, which is nice. But build experience itself, very straightforward, but very enjoyable. I would say this gets a 9 out of 10. Just really a fun set. Like, you were never bored building this set. And that is something to consider when you have Lego, because there are some monotonous, you get to step 53, right? And suddenly you need to do the same thing 36 times. That can get kind of annoying, and you don't really have this here. And so I really enjoyed the build experience. So definitely a 9 out of 10. Display ability, I'll hit that one next. Also a great display set. The proportions are done just right. This is the kind of set where you can put it out on a table and celebrate Halloween, but at the same time, you can put it up on your bookshelf, and it will fit very nicely on the bookshelf. It's not a perfectly flat set, so you do have a dynamic curve that goes on with this set, but it's still something that's not really going to, it's not going to hang off the bookshelf. It's only about 10 inches deep, so it works really well. So 9 out of 10 for display ability. Playability, this is probably its weakest, and it's a little bit of a knock on there. I do think with the number of minifigs and the number of Easter eggs, there's definitely some playable features here. You can take apart the roof, you can reenact some scenes, but for playability itself, I would say 7.5. Not terrible, because you have the different sequences that you can do. You can pull out the podium and have Jack address the crowd. You can have Jack and Sally meet in the graveyard for their little romance scene. The door opens up on Jack's house, where you can reenact, it's got that eye on the door, right? Where, they're going to come up and talk to him, and Jack's going to tell him to go away. Your typical stuff. And so playability, not huge, but I think kids could really have a fun time with this set. So 7.5 out of 10. And then last, which really is important to all of us, is the value. At 9.1 cents per piece, which even if it's not the best metric to go by, I would say overall it is an average value. It's not phenomenal. It's not bad. It's not like a Star Wars set that's 12 cents per piece. But for $200, it's certainly nothing to sneeze at. And so it's something to consider as you're going forth. It runs very well in line with other Lego Ideas sets. So, and especially for something that is technically a Disney licensed set, could you call it that? I'm not sure. It's not too bad. So I would say 8 out of 10 for value. It's definitely something I would want to own. And if you are a fan of this movie, if you're a fan of this genre, because people just love Halloween too, and I don't think Halloween is a very popular holiday that definitely is underrepresented in Lego. So for all you Halloween people out there, I think this is a must buy. So if you're keeping track, if you've put all four of those together, that gives us an overall score of an 8.4 out of 10, which I think is pretty spot on. Definitely a lovely build, one that I love having in the collection. It was a day one buy for me. It's just really nice to have it and put it together. And the joy that it brings to my daughter's face, who is a real big fan. Like, I liked the movie, right? I remember seeing it in theaters when I was a little kid. And I really enjoyed it. But she is like, yes, the Nightmare Before Christmas definitely had a resurgence. And so there's a lot of those little kids nowadays, or even teenagers, that are really into this type of set and really love Halloween. So it's definitely a must for those in that collection. So, but with that, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy your Friday. Nothing like a full review Friday to get you going. And hopefully you get through the day and get yourself to the weekend. And again, I truly appreciate you coming along with me on this. If you enjoy the content, I would love for you to like and subscribe. That really helps me out, helps the algorithm find me. Like I say, I post podcasts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And until the next podcast, I'll catch you on the next one.
How it's supposed to feel.